The last section that we're going to discuss for Chapter 13 involves polysaccharides. Remember what our words break down into. Poly means many. Saccharides means sugars. So we're talking about compounds that have a lot of sugars in them, so they can break down into lots of monosaccharides. So the polysaccharides that we're going to be talking about are ones with D-glucose as the base. We're going to discuss 4 different kinds. Amylose, amylopectin, which are both starches. Glycogen, which is that found in muscle, another starch found in muscle. And then cellulose, which is found in plants. Notice amylose and amylopectin and glycogen are all alpha D glucose, which means that this first OH is pointing down, whereas the cellulose is the only one that's beta. So this section is primarily memorization, but it does help if you're able to visualize it. So amylose is the ones that are actually in potatoes or regular starches that are in our foods. It's a straight chain, and they're all alpha. So if we look at this, that means that here's the first carbon. The OH group is pointing down in every single one. Also, the OH in the fourth carbon is pointing down because they're glucose. Remember, the fourth one is pointing down for glucose, this points up for galactose. Notice this V. That is a dead giveaway that it's alpha. Because if you see the V there, that means that first carbon is pointing down, which is why you have alpha 1,4-glycosidic. The next one we're going to talk about is amylopectin, which is the same type. It still has alpha, so you still have this V here. But every 20 or 30 carbon or monosaccharides or so is going to branch, and that's what these are. So off the 6th carbon, so here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it bonds off of the one that's floating on top. Every 20 or 30 or so, it's going to link up and form more of its own chains. Glycogen, which is that found in animals in the muscle, once again the alpha D glucose, which means you're going to have that V-shaped oxygen bond. But instead of doing every 20 or 30, you're looking at every 10 or 15 units. Every 10 or 15 monosaccharides are going to branch up. But it's still going to be that one floating on top there. So up here, it's going to be connected to other chains. It's just going to happen more often than the amylopectin. Glycogen branches more often. And then finally we have cellulose, which is the only one we're discussing that has beta. Notice the difference in how it looks. Alpha, you're going to see it come down and back up because that first OH here points down. With the carbon being beta, it originally points up, which means you're going to have that line look. And that's the difference between the alpha and beta glycosidic bonds. So if we were to look at this and determine which types of bonds they were, well, this is the wood in one. This is wood. So this would be cellulose. And we just said it was the beta 1,4-glycosidic. Whereas this one is potato starch, which will give us the alpha 1,4. Cellulose is the only one with beta. And that's the end.